Hey y'all, thanks for joining me on another cleaning video. This is a little different, I know, but I'm gonna give it a try, see how you like it, see how I like it. I'm going to be doing a video voiceover combo type of thing as I talk through this cleaning video for today. So instead of just hearing my voice, you will see my face as I'm talking through the cleaning video. Let's get into it. I am starting off by cleaning all the windows. All of the windows were absolutely disgusting. We rent this house and I did not clean the windows when we moved in. We just moved in. It was a lot going on. So we needed to clean the windows. And so I tackled that job. Now, first things first, I started by vacuuming just to get some of the dust and debris and dead bugs and all of that up. And then I immediately went over with a steamer and a toothbrush to kind of, brush up all of that gunk and dirt. And it literally is probably years and years and years of dirt built up on these windowsills, and they're old windows. So it's just a lot going on, and I wanted to get it as clean as possible. I went in with the steamer and with the toothbrush and some paper towels and just wiping it up constantly to get all these layers of dirt and grime off of this windowsill. But you'll see later that I actually figured out a quicker way of doing this. And you'll just have to see it when I do it on the other windows in the other part of the house. Little disclaimer, if you hear screaming or yelling or woo in the background, that is my kids. They're playing outside in the backyard. They're outside, they're having fun, they're doing what they love. So I can't make them be quiet outside. I made my way outside to clean the outside of the windows after I cleaned the inside and the windowsill, and it again was just layers of pollen and dirt and dust. And so as soon as I took the window screen out and cleaned that bottom window pane, it just was night and day difference on how much light was coming into the room. It was so satisfying, and I didn't want to put the window screen back up because it was just so bright in this room, but I knew I had to just keep the bugs away. This was kind of a multi-day project, so on a separate day, I cleaned another really big window, and it made some difference, but then I noticed that this window was double paned and I couldn't get access to the inside of the window where there was a lot of cobwebs and bugs and stuff and dirt. So I just cleaned the outside, cleaned the inside, and called it a day. It was great because it was an overcast. It was actually starting to sprinkle a little bit. And so I wanted to clean the windows when it was cloudy so that the sun did not make the windows super streaky. That's kind of a tip. If you're cleaning your windows on the outside, you wanna make sure that it's not super sunny, super hot, and it'll just dry out your product. Now, here is where I moved on to trying a different technique to cleaning the window pane and get all of the dirt and grime off. So I actually went in with the dry toothbrush and the vacuum cleaner, and I just scrubbed away to get all those layers of dirt and grime off. And that worked so much better, like 500 times better than trying to just wipe some of the dirt up and vacuum up the dirt and then steam all of that dirt off. It got too messy and it didn't really get all of it out in the corners. But when I did the toothbrush and just basically kind of like excavating dirt up, that helped so much. After I got that off, I went over with the steamer, and you can see it's still so much dirt on that window pane. But I got as much as I could off and moved on to the other window in the bedroom. Also cleaned the window ledges, and all I used was just a water and vinegar mix. and wipe that up. It was a lot of built up pollen that got on the ledges because I've had the windows up to get some fresh air in the house every day, and there's just been so much pollen in the area. I don't know if it's bad for y'all, but it's been so bad here, and so I wiped that up to get some of that caked up pollen off. And then I moved on. You can see it is so much better, so much cleaner. There's still some crevices of the window pane that were dirty, but that was just, at that point, I had enough, and it was good enough for me. So I moved on to our dining room area windows, and I did the same type of technique, dry brush and vacuumed up most of the dirt, and then followed it up with the steamer. And then I moved on to trying to clean the window screens. I'll be quite honest, I did 2 window screens, one in one of our guest bedrooms and one in our dining room area, and you'll see me take it out. And it was not worth it to me. I did not see that big of a difference. And again, the windows are old, the window screens are old. It did not make that much of a difference. When I did clean the window screens and put it back in, I didn't see that much light come in. The hassle that it took to take the window screen out, you'll see me struggling in here, it just was not worth it. So I said I was not going to do that for any of the other windows. Just made sure I cleaned the window pane and wiped the windows down on the inside and outside, and that was it. In one of the bathrooms upstairs, there was a ton of pollen. I mean, this was probably the worst I saw on any of the window ledges, but got all the pollen wiped up. You can see it. And clean the window. This was kind of a frosted glass, so you can't really tell that much of a difference if it's clean or not, other than the dirt that wipes off and is shown on the paper towel. So that, I took care of that. I cleaned our front door and our screen door, and then that was it for all the windows. So glad that it was done. It just took so long, and yes, a couple days to get this done. I moved on to dusting and cleaning our 2 bookshelves that are in our sitting/dining area. And yes, I needed to dust because spring cleaning, but I also wanted to just rearrange the books that were on this bookshelf and get some unnecessary items that were on the bookshelf off. Just, any surface area in the house, it just kind of becomes a dumping ground, like, oh, let me just place this here temporarily, and then it never gets moved again. So I wanted to take care of that, make it clean and clear. So I took all the books off. I also wanted to recategorize them, like make sure that they were all in their perspective category. So if it was a love category, or Black history, or personal development, or spiritual books, things like that. And so I took some time to rearrange them and get them organized. And then I dusted, which did not take that long at all. I had a little handheld Swiffer and dusted all the shelves. You can see here, after I finished dusting, I put everything back kind of in their categories. Up at the top of the right side of the bookshelf are kind of special memories. We have a Christmas memories book, a photo album, and then a little jar that has some special memories to us. After I finished up with the bookshelf, I moved on to the girls' room. This was kind of a deep clean, but kind of not a deep clean. So the main objective here was to get every teeny tiny piece of Play-Doh that was on their floor, get that up, clean their floor, clean their bedding, and then I rearranged their bedroom just so that it can feel fresh and pleasant to be in. Our two girls, they're the youngest two, they're 3 and 5, and they've just been struggling a little bit with sleep. I don't know, they've just been staying up, talking to each other, playing around, and it's cute and fun, except I need to go to bed at a certain time, and when I can't, then it throws me off. So I thought if I rearrange their room, get their beds on another side, maybe it would just feel better to them and be easier for them to fall asleep instead of playing. Now, they've been in this arrangement for enough to where I've gauged how it's going, and it's been better, but you know, no perfect 100% turnaround. So to be continued. I have mentioned this before on one of my shorts, but I oftentimes like to sweep before I vacuum. We have a decent, like a pretty good vacuum cleaner, but I don't know what it is. I just like sweeping a lot of times before I vacuum. And maybe in this instance, it also had to do with I needed to sweep up a lot of Play-Doh, big chunks that were too big, and it would get lodged in the vacuum cleaner. So I did sweep, and then I vacuumed to make sure I got all the little tiny pieces up, and then I put the beds in their place. And this is how it turned out. Laid the rug out. This was bedtime, and they were, you know, hanging out with Dad. So I finished up putting everything into place, and you can kind of see how everything is set up in the bedroom. Maybe a little bit. I moved on to the boys' room. In this room, I did a bit more of a deep clean because I kind of decluttered some things that they had on their dresser and some stuff in their closet. I did not have this on video, mainly because I did half of it, and then I just was like, I'll come back to this. A lot of this time that I'm spending to clean up, I am doing this in like during nap time. So that's maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I'm trying to like beat the clock. So trying to do it before I pick up the kids. And oftentimes I'm just trying to cram in so much stuff. So if you don't see it on camera, it probably didn't happen, or it happened and I just didn't feel like recording it, to be quite honest. There was one big thing that bothered me in the boys' room, and that was, you can see very obviously, there are like these blue lines on their walls, and it is from when we bought their bedding. The color basically rubbed off on the wall because their beds originally, you could, you know, when you saw in the beginning and when I first got in their room, their beds were up against the wall on both sides. And so it caused these blue marks. It's just, it looks so bad and so gross. So I spent some time cleaning that up as much as I could. Again, I did as much as I could during the time, and I'm just being fully transparent with y'all. And one side looked a lot better than the other, but I will come back to it to give it another touch up, because it was just so, like, when I wiped it with the Mr. Clean, the Mr. Clean was just completely blue and gray, and actually the paint was kind of rubbing off too. Personally, honestly, I think the paint is very cheap in this room, so honestly I don't think anything should rub off this bad on the wall, but it did, so that's neither here nor there. Got this wall cleaned up. Again, I used Mr. Clean, and then I used the water and vinegar solution with the microfiber cloth and just wiped it up until I got most of the discoloration off the wall. The sun keeps coming in and out, so this is a pet peeve of mine, and people have said this in videos before. I'm like, it's not that bad, just fix it. But the sun literally keeps switching in and out every like 30 seconds. So I'm trying to keep it bright, but not too bright, so sorry if that's distracting. I also took the time to clean the air filter that they have in their bedroom, you know, spring cleaning, get everything dusted and cleaned up. So I did that. I changed their filter off camera, and then I vacuumed up the front filter to get that all clean. And then I washed their bedding, put their bedding back on, and the room just felt so fresh, like super fresh, super clean. Now, one thing I did use in their room, I Swiffered their floors. And for some reason, I don't know if I'm just getting more and more sensitive, but I typically cannot do really strong products with like really strong fragrances. And I used a Swiffer wood flooring on their floors, and the smell it smells nice, but it's so strong, and it's like it lasts forever. Like I went back over with a steamer a couple days later and I can still smell it. So I will probably never use that again, because yeah, just cleaners with very strong fragrances give me a headache, and it makes me nauseous and all that. So but here's a quick little preview of what I'm gonna have on the next video. It's gonna be a decluttering video. So I have a few spaces in the house that just, again, dumping grounds all the time. So I'm going to clean up these spaces. You're gonna see it. I'm so excited for you to join me on that one. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you being here with me. Let me know how you enjoyed it. If you didn't like it, if you don't like seeing my face, if you only like to hear my voice. I'll see you next time. Bye.